Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea, and I do mean sea to shining sea this time. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live. This is a copy of the WRMI Shortwave CQ Calling Show, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. Hope you enjoy the 15 minutes. This is exactly as it sounded all over the world on Thursdays. So we hope to see you join us and be a part of the show. Wherever you're coming from the four winds of the world, away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for coming. I've always had a love for shortwave. My DX career began in 1972, and I found, it was by accident, I found a Los Angeles radio station sitting in my mom's car in Portland, Oregon. No kidding. And that was it. I was hooked. I stayed in the car until she called me to go home and go to bed. No kidding. I was in the driveway, turning the dial and seeing how far I could hear. From there, it went to shortwave. So I started in shortwave late 72, early 73. Radio has always been my first love. It's all I ever wanted to do. Some people wanted to be doctors. Some wanted to save the world. I just wanted to be on the radio. It's all I ever wanted my whole life. So having this opportunity is truly an honor. I would like to say a thank you to Jeff White, General Manager at WRMI, as well as Ray Novak and all of the fine people at ICOM for sponsoring the show. It's truly an honor to me. Before we start, I do want to say hello to my brother Bob. Welcome. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. Here is the show on WRMI. Let me first share the schedule for you so you can know exactly when to hear it. CQ Calling, powered by ICOM for the love of ham radio, can be heard in Hawaii, South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand on Thursdays at 0815 UTC at 7730 kilohertz. Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East on Thursdays, 2015 UTC on 15770 kilohertz. North America gets the show on Thursdays, 7:30 Eastern on 9395 kilohertz. And the Caribbean, Central America, and South America gets the stream on Thursdays at 8:15 Eastern Time. Broadcast is on 9955 kilohertz. If you're somewhere where you just aren't hearing things very well, and conditions today in particular are not very good for reception, you can always go on the internet and listen to the stream at www.wrmi.net. That's a good way to look at, hearing the show if you like it, and I hope you do. It's a heritage, both the ham and shortwave. I really do. Current conditions today are pretty low. The sunspot number is 0, and that's why conditions are the way they are. But let's get to the show. This is CQ Calling show number 2. It's as heard here on WRMI today out of Okeechobee, Florida. Hope you enjoy the show.
Calling Dublin, Milan, Madrid, Montevideo, Guatemala City, Paramaribo, Bujumbura, Kinshasa, and Tangier.
This is WRMI, Okeechobee, Florida.
The commercial shortwave station in the USA.
Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to CQ Calling here on WRMI. CQ Calling now is powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. Let's pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, sit down and relax. The next 15 minutes we'll talk about radio news, the HF forecast for the coming week, and we'll have something out of the mailbag segment to open up. I hope you enjoy the show. From the four winds of the world, wherever you're listening to WRMI, welcome back. CQ Calling is a show that's about radio. It's a show that we hope you enjoy as time goes by, and it celebrates all forms of radio. We also want you to know when we're going to be on where. So you can find CQ Calling to Hawaii, South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand on Thursdays at 8:15 UTC on 7730 kilohertz, to Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, Thursdays, 2015 UTC on 15770 kilohertz, North America receives the show on Thursday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on 93.95 kilohertz, and the Caribbean, Central and South America gets the show on Thursdays at 8:15 Eastern Time on 99.55 kilohertz. By the way, the Thursday 8:15 Eastern broadcast also will be simulcast on the Internet at www.wrmi.net. I know a lot of folks who love to DX shortwave. I'm one of them. Been doing it now almost 50 years. And I always wanted to be a ham as well. I wanted to make calls and see how far I could, make contact with people. Well, maybe there's someone out there that's in that same boat, but you just don't know how to start. A good way to start is to contact a national radio club, tell them where you're located, and then find a local radio club that can help you not only get your license, but also maybe help you along the way with setting your shack up, getting your gear, and getting you on the air. Try the American Radio Relay League. They're a great group out of the United States, and even if you're not in the U.S., they'll help you find a local club. Find them on the Internet at www.arrl.org. That's www.arrl.org. In the news for radio this week, the American Radio Relay League seeks a news editor. They're looking for a news editor with professional journalism background to handle ARL's news function on a contract remote basis. Candidates for the American Radio Relay League's news editor should be plugged into the ham radio community with broad awareness of the major players, past and present, and the main issues, past, present, and potentially future, in the main issues in the world of ham radio. Ideally, candidates will have a professional journalism experience background and having a well-developed sense of knowing a potential news story when they see one, as well as how and where to research leads. If you'd be interested in this position, contact Becky Schoenfield. Her call sign, Whiskey 1 Bravo X-Ray Yankee. That's Whiskey 1 Bravo X-Ray Yankee. Also, December is Youth on the Air Month. It's a great month for youngsters 25 and younger. In the U.S., the call signs will once again start with Kilo 8 Yankee, Kilo 8 Oscar, Kilo 8 Tango, and Kilo 8 Alpha. 3 new DXCC entries will be participating for the first time. Argentina will be active as Lima Romeo 1, Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha, Cuba as Charlie Oscar 0, Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha, and Peru as Oscar Alpha 0, Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha. Other countries also may be added. In 2020, the Youth on the Air people had a goal of 100,000 contacts around the world. They made over 137,000 of those contacts. How about that? Also, this month marks the centenary of the first amateur radio signals that crossed the Atlantic. Signals from the USA were received by Paul Godley, 2 Zulu Echo, at a specially prepared receiving setup at Androsen, Scotland. So from December 1st to the 26th, all UK and Crown dependency licensees may add the suffix slant 2 Zulu Echo to their amateur call sign to mark the centenary. You can find out more information about this on the Radio Society of Great Britain website. I want to take a break for a moment to tell you about a brand new product that just released this month from ICOM. It's called the ID52A, and it's an amazing radio. Listen. Hi friends, it's Larry. I'd like to talk with you about the brand new ICOM ID52A. The ID52A is now shipping. It's ICOM's newest handheld amateur radio, and it's a VHF-UHF dual bander with D-Star and FM dual mode functions. The ID52A supports conventional FM communications and D-Star simplex, repeater, regional, and worldwide calls over the D-Star Internet Gateway. The ID52A is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display and the ability to send photos over D-Star with a connected Android device. It's also a wideband receiver with guaranteed range of 144 to 148 and 440 to 450 megahertz. It operates in VV, UU, VU, and dual DV mode, has a micro SD card slot, and is IPX7 waterproof. The ID52A, brand new from ICOM, Find it at your local ham radio retailers and order now. That's a beautiful, beautiful transceiver. Just hold it right in the palm of your hand. Color screen, waterfall, just beautiful. Find it at your local ham radio retailer. The HF forecast for the week looks better than last week, actually. We've been seeing maximum usable frequencies in the northern hemisphere, anywhere from between 25 and 27 megahertz. And in some places, we've even reached 30 in places like Florida and Spain. Some places in the southern part of the northern hemisphere have had some good numbers. Mid-latitudes, of course, will have really good conditions as the sun is mostly overhead there and towards the southern ocean. So you're going to have great conditions, the mid-latitudes and southern latitudes as well over the week, with maximum usable frequencies approaching 30 megahertz or higher. So your ham radio and shortwave forecast for the week, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. For voiced, daytime ham radio bands open will be 20, 17, 15, and 12 in the northern hemisphere. The mid-latitudes and southern latitudes should get everything, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. For folks that like to work CB radio skip, possible medium-distance skip openings, maybe 5 to 1,000 miles, 500 to 1,000 miles in parts of the northern hemisphere, should be pretty much open and maybe intercontinental for mid and south latitudes. If you like to work data like FT8 or JC65, those bands will work just fine. Those modes, I should say, will work just fine. 30 meters to 10 meters, all latitudes. Nighttime ham band openings for the week should be 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30, and your best DX will be on 40 meters. But remember, 20 and 17 at gray line can be very brilliant and get you some great results. Shortwave bands during the daytime, 31, 25, 22, and 19, and shortwave nighttime should be 120, 90, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and people in the mid and southern latitudes should get 100% chance of 19 meters working after dark until about 2 hours after sunset. Great conditions to pick up 19 meters in the mid and south, and that's a great band to listen to as well. I want to tell you about a product that has sold like hotcakes in the United States. It's the ICOM IC705, a QRP rig that really does the trick. And I'll tell you, I have a person who watches my YouTube channel at Ham Radio Live. His call sign, Whiskey Alpha 2, Tango Papa Uniform. He does QRP work as well. And on 1 watt, worked from Afton, New York, all the way to Cape Town, South Africa. On something just like this, here's the ICOM IC705. Happy holidays from ICOM. This season, spice up your ham shack with ICOM's IC705. The IC705 is the perfect sidekick and QRP companion. Base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package, covering HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. The 4.3-inch color touchscreen has a live band scope and waterfall. It operates at 5 watts transmit with a BP272 battery and 10 watts at 13.8 volts DC. It'll operate in SSB, CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functions. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional backpack, the LC192, with a special compartment for your 705 and room for accessories for soda, pod activations, or a day out in the wild. Find the IC705 at your favorite ham radio retailer and order now. The IC705, the whole year I've been asking people at retailers, what's one of your hottest selling transceivers? And they constantly tell me the IC705. Fantastic transceiver. Full color touchscreen. Very, very light and easy to carry with you on the road. Great rig. I got a great letter out of the mailbag for this week that really is a treat. It's from William Weinger, Whiskey 6, Tango Foxtrot Delta, out of Tracy, California, United States of America. He writes, Dear Larry, why is it that I can make long calls on 40 meters at night, but I can't during the day? I don't understand why it won't work as far during the daytime. Thank you for your help, Bill. Bill, this is a great question, and I appreciate you taking the time to write me. This all has to do with the ionosphere and how it works our HF signals in not only ham, but shortwave radio. HF is from 3 kilohertz all the way up to 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. So 3,000 kilohertz to 30,000 kilohertz. Okay. During the daytime, there are 4 ionospheric layers. The lowest one doesn't reflect signals well. In fact, it attenuates it. That's called the D layer, Bill, and it's located right about 40 miles from the Earth's surface. Above that, at about 75, 80 miles, is the E layer. And then there are 2 other layers, the F1 and F2 layers at over 200 kilometers high. At night, that D layer that helps to absorb signals on the 40-meter band during the daytime goes away completely. It leaves the E layer and the F1 and F2 layer combined together to form one solid layer at about 240 kilometers up. That's how our signals bounce. They bounce off the E and the F layers. So during the day, you're not going to get long distance on 40 meters because at 7 megahertz or 7,000 kilohertz, you're not going to get a whole lot of distance through the D layer because it absorbs so many signals. It has to get up to the E and the F layer to be able to reflect those signals back to Earth. It does that at night because the D layer disappears at night. So that's the same reason we use different meter bands here on shortwave. It's a great reason why, for example, we listen to 19 meters during the daytime because it comes in great. But at night, because conditions aren't great, we don't hear it at night unless we're in the middle of summer or we have a really high sunspot number. That ionosphere does everything for us on the HF bands. Bill, thank you for writing. If you have a question for me you'd like to have answered on the mailbag segment, please feel free to reach out to me at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. That's cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. Now, I also want to tell you, if you'd like to meet the general manager of WRMI, Jeff White, please join me on my YouTube podcast. I have it nearly every day. It's a variety show about radio for people who love radio. Jeff White, the general manager of WRMI, joins me on December 18th at 20 UTC. So again, the WRMI GM, Jeff White, on December 18th at 20 UTC. Please join us with your questions about WRMI Radio. It should be a fun time. I want to thank you for pulling up a chair today and taking a visit with me. It's been my pleasure to spend this 15 minutes with you. From wherever you're listening from around the world, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making CQ Calling part of your day. God bless you wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Goodbye.
This is WRMI, Radio Miami International. Radio Miami International, a commercial international shortwave radio station. WRMI, broadcasting to listeners worldwide. For all information, please visit our website at WRMI.net. That is WRMI.net. WRMI, member of the National Association of Shortwave Broadcasters.
There you go. All right. So thanks a lot for listening and spending the time here today. It was an honor to share show number 2 of CQ Calling with you. It's powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. Thanks to everybody at ICOM as well as WRMI. Next week, we'll redo the show and make sure you can all hear it because conditions are kind of up and down right now. So we'll see if we can maybe do a show sometime tomorrow. I would like to do that, but it may have to just be an AMDX show. It's where I started in radio a long time ago. So anyway, thanks a lot for being here, everybody, wherever you may be. Please keep listening to WRMI. They've got great signals all over the world, 1.4 million watts.